let me take you to the 90-day money game, because this is a game we began a few months back in EverCoach. It's a game that is really fun to play. Sometimes it's great to look at how many people can you speak to, how many powerful conversations can you have. But sometimes as a coach, if you want to be a professional coach, you've got to get yourself, you're great at getting people out of their heads, right? Me too. Often I do it using games. And one of the games, the 90-day money game, gets people out of their head. Because you pick a number, you put the number on a piece of paper, and then you do whatever it takes to go and create that money. And you did it, and you played it, and created extraordinary results. So tell me, when you first read the story about the 90-day money game, did it seem real? Did it seem ridiculous?
I mean, it seemed exciting. It seemed kind of impossible, but like I got the point. You know, I didn't think I'd make the money. I thought I'd make some percentage of that, but playing a game is fun. It seemed like a good way to do something in community. You know, we were all doing it together on EverCoach, so I really liked that, you know, having people all play a game together. And it seemed like it was a brand new thing, tracking all the different aspects of how to create a client, you know, how to create, you know, prosperity. And so it was fun. It was exciting.
Cool. So a few elements in there. One, it seemed impossible, but you were willing to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Great thing for us to do with our clients, right? They often bring things that look impossible. I have so much experience now, people saying that something's impossible, that for me that's fun. That's usually the game I like to go. If it looks possible, then it doesn't interest me so much, because the edge is in the impossible.
Right.
So it looked impossible. It was a game, so it felt like fun. And then you said you'd dive in anyway. And then what began to happen? Like, take me through. You created a chart first of all.
Yeah, I made this big. I got like the big Post-its that you post on your walls, so it was huge. And I made a road up the middle with 40. I picked $40,000, which is crazy. Big road up the middle with 40 lines on it, and up to the horizon with a big sun that said $40,000. You know, it was beautiful. And then that's usually what I would track. You know, like how much money's coming in. You know, it's the point of the game. But you had said something to me about track the proposals, and so I made these trees that had these sort of outlines that were also marked up, so they were like $40,000 trees. So I had $200,000 of proposals on there, and then I had these like little flowers with petals checking out the time, how much time I was spending every day creating clients. And I found by playing this game what was more fun for me, because coloring something in is fun. You know, I feel like, oh, success, I did it. You know, I did something. I'm on my way. Wasn't the money. It was the proposals. You know, anytime I talked to somebody, it was like, oh, I get to make a proposal in my head. I'm like, I'm going to get this color in my thing. How do I set a thing up so I can make a proposal? You know, it almost, whether they said yes or no became almost secondary to, and the numbers I was saying out loud were double or triple what I was used to saying out loud, you know. So the bigger the number, the more I could color in my tree, you know. And it started to, it was really fun. It worked. Yeah,
it does. It does. And that's the fun of the proposal game, is that proposals are in your control. Whether or not they pay you is out of your control. I remember I lived in India a few years ago with Monique, my wife. She's a singer and a songwriter, and she was performing in India. And at the end of the night, she'd take her tips upstairs, and we played this game. We'd throw the tips on the bed, and we'd roll on the money, like as if we're in a movie where we'd you know, got millions of dollars. But the joke of it was, you know, she'd have a bunch of notes, but they were rupees, so it'd be like 12 cents in total, or something like that. And a couple of years later, we're back in the US, and I'm working in my coaching business, and I get a big check from a client, and I open the envelope, and here's the big check, and Monique says, oh, let's have fun. Let's throw it on the bed, and we'll roll on the bed, just like we used to do it. And I was about to, and I caught myself. I said, hang on a second. No, I don't want to do that. Because if the only time we roll on the bed and have this fun about is when the money comes in, that's out of our control. So doing the business like the way I do it, one client at a time, some months I'll sign up 2 or 3 clients and have a lot of income. Maybe a couple of months I get no clients, there'll be no income. That's going to be really depressing and a kind of roller coaster. Proposals are in my control. So let's roll on the bed every time I make a proposal. Let's celebrate every time I make a proposal. And that was really fun for us. We began to celebrate the proposals, and I hear that's exactly what you did, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it worked. It was like, it kept me moving,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I wasn't, I could do that. You know, I could, it's so much easier to think, how am I going to get someone in front of me that I can propose to, than to think, how am I going to get somebody to give me, you know, $10,000? Like that seems impossible, you know? Whereas I can get someone in front of me to propose to, you know?
Nice, nice. And then what happened? What did you begin to notice? Just at the beginning of the game, as it began to play through.
I was having a lot more conversations with people. Um, what I began to notice. I was enjoying what I was doing more. I stopped feeling salesy. Like I stopped feeling like I'm trying to get one over on anybody. I had then done it so many times that also the process of making a proposal became a lot easier. You know, like at first it was like, you know, read the Prosperous Coach, the book, and see, you know, step 1, step 2, and then you're in it and you're trying to think about, okay, Rich said to do this first and that first, and it's kind of clunky, you know. But after the 5th one or 10th one or whatever, it's all in there, you know, the elements of it, and they come up as appropriate, and it became a lot more fluid, and I stopped doing modeling what you have been teaching, and started just sort of being super present in the moment, and then it became even more powerful, you know, when the proposals were happening.
Nice. That's a great catch as well on this game of mastery. Yeah, sometimes it helps to model someone to start with, even to follow step by step. But underneath it all, and I wish, you know, they say this apparently, once you write a book, you realize all the things you should have put in it. All of my events have a theme tune. They're always Sammy Davis Jr. singing "I Gotta Be Me."
Mm-hmm.
So "Be You" is the theme behind everything I teach.
Mm-hmm.
And did you discover after a while that first you start to be you're a bit clunky, you're trying to do all the right steps, then you gradually leave that behind, you start kind of more intuitive, and then it's just rolling through you. Did you get to a stage where actually then you begin to do it your way?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's still elements of it, but I don't have your voice in the back of my head anymore. I'm not trying to do it right, whatever that means, you know. Like,
nice. And then what result did you create? Like what happened at the end of the 90 days?
well, I hit the 40,000 in 67 days. It was just wild. I should check to see what I actually made in 90 days.
Oh, that would be good. That would be very good.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
So you look a little bit incredulous right now.
Yeah. It was. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I doubled or more than doubled what I was asking for, and then I started having longer packages. Like I wasn't going month by month anymore. It was like all of a sudden I'm a coach who works with people for 6 months to a year. What? Okay, you know, and people were like, okay, so really, you know, and this is what it is. You have to pay me up front, and if not, it's more expensive. And they were like, okay, here's just what? Like they just did it. And I remember I got all these checks for $5,000, $7,000, whatever, all at the same time because all these people signed up at once, happily for me. And they all kind of arrived, and I had like 5 or 6 checks, and I laid them all out on the table, and I took a picture, and I sent it to my parents, who have no idea, like they don't know what I'm doing with my life. They don't know what this coaching thing is. They think I'm crazy. Like, look, this is real, you know. They just couldn't believe it. And so from then, and so that felt great, and it was like, oh, wait. I'm a professional coach. I'm a high-end, successful coach, and I don't have to. You know how sometimes you kind of act as if until you are it. Like I don't have to act as if anymore. It's true. You know, and of course, you know, like quickly after that, then you get one of those months where no one signs up, and you're like, oh, you know.
Well, let's come to that. We'll come to that. I want to draw something out, and we'll come to that. Okay. So I hear there's a distinction around being that coach who charges monthly to that coach who has packages and works for 6 months or a year. Mm-hmm. How did it feel just making that transition?
At first it was scary. At first it was so bizarre. Like, is anybody going to sign on for 6 months? That's so long. You know, I always had this idea that, you know, make things affordable and easy for people to say yes to, you know. But let me capture that. I've got to capture that. Okay. 2 things. First of all,
You said at first it was scary. So just a good reminder for you,
Yeah.
you can do scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second of all, making things affordable and easy. I've always learned to do the opposite, and it's had such success in my business. No, make it unaffordable and challenging. First of all, you begin to position yourself as a very unique coach in a world where so many people are going into coaching, where someone's sitting at a dinner party with their girlfriends and they say, "You're great at helping us with our relationships. Why don't you become a coach?" People with no experiences just diving into this, and online now you can do you can get a certification as a coach over a weekend online.
Whoa.
For free. It used to be like
Really?
$75 was the cheapest I'd seen. Now you can get a certificate for free.
Wow.
So it's like it becomes meaningless. You want to take yourself out of that realm of all the other coaches. One of the ways to do that is how you position yourself, the kind of language that you use, and I hear that's what you would do.
Yeah.
And it's a created world. Our language creates our reality. It creates our world. Right. I was saying out loud, I charge $20,000 a year for coaching clients for an entire year before my first person ever paid me $20,000 a few years back. No, I didn't have no clients in that time. If they wanted to work with me, but the money was too much, we'd get creative and find a way to work together that was different. Well, okay, how about we do every other week, or we'll just have 3 sessions. And I had one guy pay me for for an hour of coaching. We split into 4 15-minute segments. You can play, but yeah, I spoke into the world. I'm a $20,000 coach, and it became a reality. It took me a year. It took you a lot less time to become the kind of coach you want to do. But do you see? You can speak into the world, and it's not even acting as if. It's like, this is who I am, but not putting it out there into the future. It's who I want to be. It's like a $20,000 coach. Well, this is how she would show up, and then you show up from that place. So these are not goals out there to get to. They're a place to come from. You being a powerful woman, you being a powerful coach, is not like hopefully down the road. It's like, well, what would a powerful coach say? What would a powerful woman do right now when you come from that place? Yeah, I know you can feel that. Mm-hmm. So let's come to the last piece, and I want to move on to John and get some of his story. Yeah, look, you play this game where you only have a few high-end clients. Well, maybe months when you sign up 3 at a time, perhaps, and other months when there's nobody who you sign. Either because sometimes you can just get a bit tired in this game, and you need a bit of a break. You take your attention off creating clients, suddenly there's a lull. It's one of those things you have to be putting your attention on constantly. Yeah. So what happened the first time you got to that lull?
Well, it was like I wasn't used. All of a sudden, I was working because I still have too many clients. I still need to trim down the clients, you know. So I'm doing all this work, but the money's not coming in because now everyone's paid up front, you know, and all that money's now gone to pay off debt and whatever. So it's not like I have all this money in the bank, and there's no more money coming in because people were paying monthly. And it's like, wait, hold on. And I had a source that a lot of these clients were coming through, like someone that was referring people to me, and it was working really, really well. He checked out. So then it was a little bit of the panic started to happen where, oh no, that was just a one-time thing, you know, or I just got lucky for some reason.
Yeah, you thought the magic was over there in your source.
Yeah.
Like this is the magic over here.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, like I chilled out with the uh-oh kind of feeling. Like I can't just rest on my laurels of this money that had come in. I have to keep playing this game. So I've started another one. You know, like we're back on, you know, like doing it. And I have, at this point, I have more red appointments than blue ones in my calendar.
And for you, red and blue, just tell people who don't know.
Red are the powerful conversations, the first or second powerful conversations pre-proposal, and the blue are my paying clients.
What I love about you, Christina, you really modeled so much of the stuff that I talk about in the book, because I mentioned in the book somewhere that I have, my calendar has 2 colors on it. Red is a conversation with a potential client, blue is a conversation with a current client, and I just have those 2 colors. You've really taken so much of that book and like teased it out and then modeled it, and it's very powerful to see.
Yeah, it worked. It's working.
Nice. It does. It does. It does. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Christina, it's such a fun to speak to you. I love that you're lit up about this. It's awesome to see that this stuff really does work. You can go from where you've been to where you are now, and then you get to that place of realizing there can be challenges too. I remember I'd finished writing the book, and I'd had 6 months off really to just focus on writing the book. Well, if you take your attention off creating clients, there comes a moment when there's no clients there, and suddenly my wife didn't hesitate to point out to me the irony. And she was very amused by it. You've written a book about how to create clients, and suddenly there's no money in our bank account. And it's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Well, I remember, I get back in the game. It's always the same game. Who would I love to speak to? And you start from there.
Yeah. Thank you for going first, figuring it out, and laying out this really great road.
Thank you. Thank you.